You sit down at your desk.
You know exactly what you need to do.
The deadline is looming, the task is important, and the plan is clear.
And yet, you do not do it. Instead, you feel an almost physical sensation, like an invisible wall has just slammed down between you and the work.
It is a strange, frustrating paralysis.
Your logical mind is screaming, "Get started," but another, much older part of your brain simply says no. You might check your email for the 10th time. You might decide that now is the perfect time to reorganize your entire music library. You might even open a new tab to watch a video about why you procrastinate, feeling the irony in your bones. With every passing minute of avoidance, a quiet layer of guilt and anxiety settles in. You start to think, what is wrong with me? Am I just lazy? Why can I not just be more disciplined? Now listen very carefully to what I am about to say.
This is not a character flaw.
It is a design flaw in how you are approaching the task. So if that is the feeling, what is really going on in your brain? And more importantly, what can we do about it? For years, you have been told the same old unhelpful advice. Things like, just try harder, be more disciplined, or the dreaded, just do it. If that advice worked, you would not be here right now. The truth is, you're not fighting a lack of willpower.
You are fighting your own biology. Deep inside your brain, there is an ancient and powerful threat detection system.
Its job is to scan your environment for danger and keep you safe. And for reasons we are about to explore, certain types of tasks can accidentally trigger this system, causing your brain to hit the emergency brake. Procrastination is not a character flaw. It is a biological signal. You will never feel like it. Motivation does not precede action. Action precedes motivation. In this video, I am going to give you a simple 3-step system to bypass this faulty alarm and get your brain to work with you, not against you.
We are not going to fight the resistance. We are going to make it irrelevant.
Now, think about that one task you are avoiding right now. It could be studying for an exam, writing a report, or even just cleaning the kitchen. Keep it in your mind as we go through this, because we are going to diffuse it together. To understand this resistance, we need to meet the 2 key players in your brain. In one corner, we have your prefrontal cortex. This is the sophisticated, logical, goal-setting part of you. It is the part that understands deadlines, plans for the future, and decides, I really need to write this thesis. It is the voice of your long-term best interests. In the other corner, we have the amygdala. The amygdala is your brain's ancient emotional security guard. It does not understand logic, deadlines, or career goals. It only understands one thing: safety versus threat. And its prime directive is to keep you alive and comfortable right now.
So let us take Sarah, who has to write a 10-page report.
Her prefrontal cortex sees this as a logical step toward a good grade or career advancement. But when Sarah sits down and thinks, write a 10-page report, her amygdala does not see a logical task. It sees a giant, vague, and potentially difficult mountain of effort.
It feels overwhelming.
There is a chance of failure, of not knowing where to start, of it being too hard. To the primitive amygdala, all of this uncertainty registers as a threat. And what does this security guard do when it detects a threat? It pulls the fire alarm, triggering a flight, fight, or freeze response. In the modern world, procrastination is the most common form of flight or freeze. Think of it this way. Your brain's smoke detector cannot tell the difference between a burnt piece of toast and a house fire. The task, write report, feels like a house fire to your amygdala. So it floods your system with stress hormones and screams, "Get out!" Your prefrontal cortex might have the steering wheel, but the amygdala has the emergency brake, and it will always choose short-term comfort over long-term gain. This explains the resistance, that feeling of an invisible wall. It is your body's ancient survival mechanism misfiring in a modern context. It is not you being lazy. It is your wiring.
But why do we choose to scroll social media instead of just sitting there, frozen?
That is about a chemical you are all familiar with, and we will get to that in a moment.
Okay, so that is the why. It is a threat response.
But knowing that does not help unless we have a new way to approach the how. And the secret is not to fight that response, but to never trigger it in the first place. This is where we introduce a concept from chemistry: activation energy. Activation energy is the minimum amount of energy needed to get a chemical reaction started. Starting a task works exactly the same way. The task writing a 10-page report has a massive activation energy. Just thinking about it requires so much mental effort that your amygdala screams threat and slams on the brakes. Our goal is not to somehow find more energy to overcome that barrier. Our goal is to lower the activation energy so much that it is easier to do the task than to resist it. This brings us to step 1 of our framework: de-threaten. The de-threaten step is about redesigning the task so it is too small to register as a threat on your brain's radar. You do this by breaking your task down not just to the first step, but to a ridiculously small first step.
So small, it feels almost laughable.
Write 10-page report is a threat. Write the first paragraph might still be a threat. Open the document and write one sentence. But the real de-threatened first step might be open my laptop.
Or even sit in my desk chair.
Let us apply this. If your task is study for my exam, the threat is high. The de-threatened first step is open the textbook to the correct chapter, or read the first paragraph of my notes. If your task is to clean the entire house, the threat is astronomical. The de-threatened first step is take one dish and put it in the sink. Just one. If your task is go for a run, the threat can be surprisingly high. The de-threatened step is put on your running shoes. You do not even have to go outside. The goal of this first step is not to make progress. It is to prove to your brain that the task is not a threat. You are not trying to write War and Peace.
Your first step is just to find the W key on your keyboard.
Can you open your laptop? Can you put one dish in the sink?
Of course you can.
There is zero resistance because there is zero threat. Once you have lowered the activation energy, you need to actually do the thing, and more importantly, get credit for it. This brings us to step 2, design. In the design phase, you define a clear, simple path of action that constitutes a win you can achieve in minutes. This often aligns with the popular 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. But we are going to apply it with a twist. You are designing a 2-minute version of your dreaded task. So Sarah's design task is not write the report. It is open the document and free write whatever comes to mind for 2 minutes. The task for cleaning is not clean the kitchen. It is wash as many dishes as possible in 2 minutes. This clear, bounded design gives your prefrontal cortex a winnable game to play. And now, the most crucial part, step 3, deploy. This is the simple act of executing your tiny design task. But here is where we answer the question I posed earlier. Why do we scroll social media? We do it for dopamine. Dopamine is the molecule of more. It is the reward chemical that makes you feel good and want to repeat a behavior. Scrolling your phone provides an endless stream of novel, easy dopamine hits. Your brain, fleeing a threat, naturally runs toward the easiest source of reward it can find. The deploy step is how we hijack this system for our own benefit. When you complete your tiny 2-minute task, something incredible happens. You get a small but genuine hit of dopamine. Your brain gets a little win signal.
Crucially, you must consciously acknowledge this win.
Done.
I did it. This conscious acknowledgement is like a neon sign for your brain that says, hey, this was not a threat, this was a reward. You are creating a new neural pathway. You are teaching your amygdala, slowly but surely, that this task is safe and even rewarding.
A friend of mine used this exact 2-minute rule for coding.
He was so overwhelmed by a big project that he avoided it for weeks. He made a deal with himself to just open the project and write or fix one line of code each day. Often that one line turned into 10 and sometimes into an hour of focused work. But on days he only did one line, he still counted it as a win. Over time, he finished the entire project, not through a heroic burst of motivation, but through a consistent chain of tiny, non-threatening wins. This creates a positive feedback loop. The next time you face the task, the activation energy is slightly lower. The resistance is a little weaker. Imagine a week from now. You have used this method every day. That feeling of dread is gone, replaced by a quiet confidence. That is what we are building. Now, there is a voice in your head right now. This is great. I will start using this tomorrow. Let us talk about that voice. This is the ultimate irony of procrastination, is it not? We procrastinate on applying the very solutions that are supposed to fix our procrastination. It is because applying this new framework can itself feel like a big, scary task. So, let us use our own tool to solve this. The challenge for you right now is not to solve all your procrastination forever. That is a house fire task. The challenge is to pick just one thing you have been avoiding and apply only the de-threatened step to it. That is your tiny experiment. Right now, you could even pause this video, grab a piece of paper, or open a note on your phone. Write down that one big, scary task. Then, underneath it, write down the most ridiculously small first step you can think of. That is it. That is the whole task for now. By doing this, you are not just planning to beat procrastination, you are actively beating it right now, in this moment. One quick but important disclaimer. This framework is incredibly powerful for the common garden variety procrastination we all face. However, if your procrastination is chronic, severe, and impacting your ability to function, it might be a symptom of something deeper, like ADHD, anxiety, or depression. In those cases, these tools can still help, but they are not a substitute for speaking with a doctor or a mental health professional. Taking care of your mental health is the most important de-threatened step you can take. So let us put this all together. What does this look like in practice? You have a task that feels impossible, and you feel that familiar wall of resistance go up. Instead of trying to smash through it with willpower, you pull out your procrastination bypass system. Step 1. De-threaten. You ask yourself, what is a ridiculously small version of this task? You ignore the mountain and focus on finding a single movable pebble. Step 2. Design. You define a winnable 2-minute mission. Not clean the garage, but put 3 things away in the garage for 2 minutes. You create a clear, finite boundary for your effort. Step 3. Deploy. You execute your tiny mission, and then you consciously give yourself credit for it. You say, good job to your brain for this small victory, giving it that little hit of dopamine. De-threaten, design, deploy. That is the entire loop. And here is the most important rule to remember. If you feel resistance, your first step is still too big. That feeling of resistance is not a sign you should push harder. It is a sign you should make the first step even smaller, even more laughable. Let us go back to that person at the desk from the beginning of the video. The one paralyzed by the sheer size of the task ahead. Imagine them now, but with this new toolkit.
They feel the familiar resistance begin to rise.
But instead of spiraling into guilt, they pause. They recognize the feeling not as a personal failure, but as a simple signal. The activation energy is too high.
So they take a breath and they de-threaten the task. They decide not to write the report, but simply to open the document. They take that tiny, calm first step.
And in that moment, the entire battle has been won.
Procrastination is not a moral failing, it is a biological signal. And by learning to speak its language, you can become its master.
Stop trying to fight the dragon at the castle gate. Just find the unlocked side door.
This whole process is about self-compassion, not self-criticism.
It is about working with your beautiful, ancient, and sometimes frustratingly illogical brain.
If this video helped you understand your brain a little better, give it a like. It really helps the channel reach more people.
And if you want to keep learning how to make your mind work for you, not against you, be sure to subscribe. Now for my question to you. What is the one task you are going to use this on? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to see what tiny experiments you are starting.
Thank you so much for watching.